Today's car chat. I'm just going to ask a simple question that's asked rhetorically, and for you guys that don't know what that means, it means you get to answer it in your own head and consider your own circumstances and your own, ambitions and goals and where you're going in your life. Why are you doing this job? Why are you in the trades? What is the reason? Is it for the accolades? Is it for admiration of your peers? Which, I don't want to harp on the influencers too much or the award shows too much, but that's what it boils down to. Is why are you in this thing? Are you trying to get your name out there to become some superstar influencer or get some sponsorships? If that's what you're there for, then I hate to break it to you. There's always a new kid in town. Every year, some new guy or gal sort of, breaks through and delivers their message in a different way and sort of skyrockets into Insta fame. And then, within that same period of time, 6, 8, 10 months, that Insta fame tends to die off. Like, you can only get so big. There's only so many Taylor Swifts in the world. I'm trying to appeal to all the audiences out there. And so when I've received a lot of criticism for my, harping on this thing. And I'm no fun, or this is, we need to take advantage of these opportunities. And I don't disagree with, I am fun, so suck it. And there are opportunities that ought to be grasped while they're available. But if the reason that you're in this and you're, 3 or 4, my rules still apply. If you've been in the trade for less than 5 and then been in business for less than 10, and you consider yourself somewhat of a going concern within this little sphere, dude, my prediction, and I may be wrong, is that's going to dry up fast, and you're going to have to rely on the skill set that you've developed. And if all you can do is make TikTok videos, then no one's going to hire you in your local environment to fix their stuff, because you're going to be looked at like a nitwit. So the most important thing that you can do for your career, if you're in the trades for the right reasons, is to develop your skill set. And that takes, I'm sorry to say, a decade. It just does. And that can be 6 years of school and then 4 years of working as a journeyman, doing your thing. But that is the minimum standard to understand how things work, to look at things with a critical eye and a discerning eye, and be able to troubleshoot things quickly and effectively. I'll use my own boys as an example. Isaiah has about 4 years more experience in this trade than Peter, and the difference is noticeable. And that's not shade on Pete. He just hasn't put the time in because he's done other things. He can speak Tagalog fluently. He spent a couple years elsewhere doing things that were important to him, that he wanted to develop. So, like I say, it's not shade on Pete, but there is a stark difference between what Isaiah can troubleshoot and how quickly he can, and Peter. And I certainly try and put him in situations that develop that skill set and help him learn and see how things work so that he's better and better at his job. But you cannot fast track. There's some stupid commercial on here that said that my dad's been a plumber for 30 years, and I took this 60-day course, and I'm now a plumber. I'm like, oh my hell, I would not hire that dude in a second. And if because you don't know anything. I suppose you know what a wax seal is and what bolts are. And that's about it. I think maybe what a pipe wrench is. There's no way that is effective. And I do think that there's some weirdness going on where we're just trying to pump out these trades guys and gals as quickly as possible. It just is, it's not effective. If you don't have the ability, and that's what everything should be judged on, I'm afraid. If you're an able-bodied and able-minded person, this, DEI stuff, and, it doesn't really affect the trades as much, the ESG scores. Those should be thrown away. And everything should be based on your ability to do the job. The end. Man, woman, black, white, whatever it is. Your higher ability should be based on your ability to do the job and not some weird government invoked, it's a big word, tyranny. We're making you do this. And I do think, I've only got a couple minutes left. I do think there's a change coming. The end is not coming. The end of the world is not coming, but there are changes coming. You can see it in Texas. There's certainly been lots of discussion about it here in Alberta, where then the discussions around how the federal governments of our current nations are not serving the majority of the people anymore. Their whole mandate is focused on minority groups and not what is best for most of the people. I think it's crazy. I do think that what's coming is you're going to see secessions from the Union, or up here the Confederacy, where we just say, you know what, enough is enough. You guys are not serving our interests anymore. You don't represent us, and we're not going to listen to what you guys say anymore. This whole carbon tax thing. Saskatchewan has said, screw it. Alberta's in the midst of it. It's complicated stuff. And as far from what I've read, it's happening down in Texas, is the state is saying, listen, we're not going to listen to the federal government anymore. We don't care what the Supreme Court says. That is not in our state's best interest, so we're going to do otherwise. And you can bitch and moan about it all you want, I guess, or support it. But I think that's the change that's coming, is a fracture of the countries that we live in, because they are failing at doing their job and trying to represent the majority of the people. I mean, again, I understand the difference between democracy and republic and all that stuff, but I think that's what's going to happen, and it'll happen in the next 5 to 10 years if what continues. It's going to be an interesting year because it's an election year for the states, and our dweeb has got like 17% approval and still is up there. I'm here for all Canadians, and then says I'm sending $100 million to Ukraine, as opposed to looking after our own homeless, our own education needs, our own food issues, and on and on and on. It just goes on and on and on. So anyway, that was a bit of a weird twist on that thing. Decide why you're in this trade. And make sure you stand up for what you believe in. That's the message. My thoughts, not yours.